All right, Crawford and Brook. That was your guy. Yeah, he proved.
Yeah, you know, I predicted before I texted out or messaged out before the fight. I sent it to you. I predicted Crawford with a first round knockout. I forgot what a notoriously slow starter he is, but the first time they really engaged, he stopped them. So I think it was an impressive performance against a shot opponent, a brave but shot, Braveheart, we called him online. Uh, Now let's move on. Let's get the Spence fight. I found it interesting to hear today that Crawford had his lawyer, I guess in Omaha, Nebraska, where he lives, send a letter to Top Rank. He may be looking to get out of the Top Rank deal or waiting for it to expire. But Crawford also brought up the fact that he'd like to fight Proper 12 Whiskey Man in an MMA fight. So Crawford has only one thing on his mind, and that's money. He doesn't care who the opponent is, whether it's Errol Spence or the Irishman.
McGregor, right?
McGregor, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there'd be any huge demand for that because Crawford's not the most well-known guy.
Which is, and we've talked about it. I think that's a shame. Yeah, my first thought, I don't know if I mentioned this to you. My first thought when I saw the knockout, do you remember Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch?
I remember hearing about it.
You could even find the video online where he's like standing like 1 inch away from the guy. There's a chair behind him and he jabs him and like the guy falls over. That's what the knockout reminded me of. When I saw like Crawford, he sticks out the jab. Was it a jab? Was it a hook? And Brook just like walks into it. It looked like he was 1 inch away. And like Brook is all over the place.
Brook in the ring, he didn't know what was going on after he got knocked out naturally. I was surprised he didn't say, did anybody get the number of that truck?
I think that's because, I had it on mute. I think that's what he was asking his corner, like what happened after the fight.
Crawford put him on mute.
Yeah. But
let's see what Errol Spence wants to do, because after that terrible car wreck in which he could have been killed, Errol Spence deserves a tune-up fight, but I don't think he deserves two tune-up fights. He's got to answer the call. Errol Spence and Crawford, that's the fight I want to see.
My only thought, first of all, I'm the sort of guy that if you give me that fight, I'd love it. I wouldn't say anything. You give me, somebody was saying Thurman and Crawford, love it. Personally, if I had my pick, I'd tell you what I want. Pacquiao and Crawford. That's what I would want. Not because it's the most competitive fight, but I think in terms of...
Same problem with all those opponents. They all belong to Al Heyman. And Bob Arum and Al Heyman don't mix it very often.
There's one thing they probably have in common. Al Heyman, they love making money, right?
They worship money, of course.
And so if they love that, that's a point where they can stick together. It's like Democrats and Republicans. They're all Americans at the end of the day. So if they love money, they should get together and make it happen. I
don't think it's a very good fight for Pacquiao.
Oh, you know what it's like? I even wrote an article about this at one point. When you have a guy like a new champion, one thing that I like to see is if he can, sort of retire the old guard. You know what I mean? Give him that chance. So there's some sort of line of succession, and I think that's why
the truth of the matter is, whether anybody likes it or not, and everybody knows I love my Pac-Man, but on the other hand, Pacquiao is a superstar. Crawford is not.
Well, that's what I would like, as a fan, is if you have that.
Madman Spence is not a superstar yet either. That's why I think Spence and Crawford need each other. Pacquiao doesn't need either one of them.
No, Pacquiao doesn't need them. I think, like, as a boxing fan, what I'd like to do is I think that it would help Crawford get that superstar status. Like in the WWE, you have like an older guy put over a new guy. And that's why I would sort of like to see that, because I think that would get Crawford more fans, which he deserves.
From everything I hear, Bob Arum wasn't very happy with the letter from Crawford's lawyer And if
Mhm.
Crawford's going to rattle Top Rank's cage, let's see what happens.